Oh, good morning to everyone watching this, at least morning here. I'm guessing I think my alarm just went off, so I think it's 0700 hours, Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. So, with the sun, it may be harder to see with the reflections. Anyways, and hopefully I remember how to edit videos now from my Note 9. So here's the trailer, loaded with the exception of 2 backpacks full of clothes, and I've got it tied down. Got a rope going across the front here for the rake, fishing poles. And this is kind of weird how I did this. It just came to me. Went on a hook up there, and then so that the rope was over there because I didn't want something really super tight on the fishing poles. The rake, if you can see it, is actually over the top of them and keep them from hopefully bouncing a whole lot, but they're not super tight, so they shouldn't break. And a trick I've learned over the years, have a paper clip like this. Either size works, well, depending on how thick the wood is. When you're doing this by yourself, take this and put your hook wherever you want it down there. And this way it doesn't fall off. That's why I do this, because if you're doing it by yourself, by the time you get to the other side, sometimes that hook falls off. Okay. Take this, put the strap between that. It'll hold it there, get to the other side, and you can tighten it up. Sometimes, if you are moving too fast or do it too fast, it will actually end up coming off before you're ready. But that seems to work really well for me over the years. Done that. Of course, there's a twist in it, half twist in it. Chocks are easy to get to if I need them for some reason out on the road. Got the bicycles on the bike rack, and I'm gonna see how this goes today, but I'm gonna be probably changing that. Anyways, I've got a bungee cord holding onto this bike, hopefully to minimize the bounce. But this is why I don't care for this. With my son's rack on the back on his, this bar can't go up to the seat, so I still end up using this. And I do have another strap here, so I'm not concerned about this. Can you see it? This is the one that's on the bike rack, and this is the one I put on there. I'm not concerned about it coming off because I have it strapped. And I have a bungee cord there on the front fork going through. Another trick I've learned over the years, carry those paper clips and rubber bands with you. Excess from the ratchet straps or pull straps. This one's not quite as tight because I lost a good one, but I've never had these come off like this. Sometimes I use zip ties, but I've actually accidentally cut a strap when trying to get the zip tie off. You know, if you do the same thing every time and use the same strap in the same place, I've taken the end of the strap and cut it down so there's not as much excess. Check the tire pressure. I got it up to, it says cold to 50 pounds. And bumped up the tire pressure in the car. I run them at 38 normally, 38, 39 with it being loaded. And when I measured it with the scales at home, the tongue weight is sitting about 190. So I put this up I put the car up to 42 because it's going to get hot today. And you know, when you're traveling on the road, the tires warm up. I left the front at 36, I believe. Because when I put the tongue weight on the back, as hopefully most people that are watching this already know, I'm taking weight off the front, so I don't see the need to raise that up. Check the spare tire. It's good. I have the key for the lock with me. No, I probably won't put a pin in that coupler. I know someone's going to say something. Thousands of miles towing a trailer. When it's put on correctly, I've never had it pop off. The only time I've ever seen them pop off when I drove a tow truck. or drove a pickup with a travel trailer with that kind of coupler, is when the coupler wasn't down on the ball properly to begin with. So with that being said, everything looks good, and hopefully I can remember how to spice this video in. Oh yeah, chains 1, I cross them because although, you know, it's sometimes people that know me know that I'm not in agreement with all laws, but I cross the chains here simply because, for the biggest reason, if that something was to come off, my coupler's not going to drag and damage probably more. The chains will catch them. Anyways, folks, with that being said, I got to take this hose and put it up and get the family, get in the car, and head out to Highway 22 west. And hopefully the scales is closed. Hello, YouTube subscribers and people watching this video. If I actually remembered how to combine the two videos to one, this will just be the second part of the whole video. So let's get straight into it. Just got back. Actually, probably had to go 80 miles, about a round trip of about 85 so miles, because the scales out west of Salem, in the Eola area, were actually opened, so I couldn't go through them. Had to come back, and we drove up to the one between Mill City and Gates, Oregon, off of Highway 22 east. There's a scales there. It was closed, although there was a log truck that came in behind me, so I didn't spend as much time as I wanted to with this. But this is haven't adjusted anything. Have to redo the fishing poles, and actually I did chalk the tires. I put it up on a block and I chalked them before doing this, but I haven't even disconnected the coupler. So let me show you something real quick. My dad taught me this trick, and I've used it. It's very useful. First off, there's a 4x4 to help get the tire, so I'm not sideswiping the tire against, which I already did, the sidewalk here. And what I do is I'll take two blocks that I use as chalks, is I will take and put the tire up on one a little bit, and then I can put the other one in from the other end, and I'll put pressure on them. So literally, if I stood here long enough, I could probably kick it out, but it's going to take a lot to kick it out. You know, get a hammer, sure, there's a way it can be done. I'm not going to say it's not going to get kicked out. But, so, let's start up here with the coupler and the hitch. If you look at the safety chains, you may have to get a better view from the other side. The sun won't be quite so in a way as I looks like, oh, hey, I see the problem. See that right there? That's better. I thought I counted those 2 ice. So I took some links out from earlier when I made the video, and like I said, the coupler didn't go anywhere. Still no pin in it. And I even took it off when we got to the scales, which with this load, the scales said there was 200 pounds of tongue weight, and there was 1,600 on the axle when it was hooked to the car. So that's under 2,000. That's sitting at 18,000. And if you do the math, 1,600 to 200, the tongue's a little heavy for me. I would love to get it down to where it's closer to about 150, especially behind my car. But let's move on. These fishing poles, obviously, I'm gonna have to tie them down better the next trip. They didn't stay where I was hoping they were, but everything else looks like I used this block, so it got moved. I used this block at the scales when I disconnected the trailer from the car. My breaker bar stayed there the whole time. I set it there and I went to move it. It may be in the other video that it left. I didn't mean to leave it there, but it stayed right there. And everything else You know, even this stuff, I don't know how well this is going to show up. Everything else pretty much stayed. Actually, I'd already moved that to look at things to make sure nothing had fell down. The bicycle, I didn't catch it at first. Maybe it slid, and that's my son's bike. That's the one in the back. I don't think it would have been able to slid because it's up against the handlebars on mine, but that's actually hanging, and not really overly fond of that. That's actually hanging over the wheel well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to rethink that. But look at this, my rubber bands, they're still there. Sure, these flap in the wind and that may irritate some people. This doesn't seem to bother me so much as like the whole thing. But that one. Anyways, except for those fishing poles, everything seemed to say, I've already said that. It's kind of getting hot out here. It's supposed to get up to like 90, I think, today. So I'm really happy. This big duffel bag, one of the modifications that will end up happening is that I'll have 2 more backpacks with clothes in it that will sit in here. I've never had it happen, but I have a small padlock I can put through there so the zipper, obviously not so someone's going to steal it, but so the zipper doesn't open up. I should drink some more water. Even all this, the wood that I had right here, everything seemed to ride really nice. As I sit back when the family's in the car, I do wish the tongue was up a little bit. But all right, folks. Well, hey, hope everybody's having a great day, and talk to you later. Bye. Hello. So from my angle, 14 3/4. I can't tell until I look at the video before posting it, which I never do because I don't like the sound of my voice. I always end up deleting all these videos. Okay, pause, and I'm gonna lower it. Okay. So now let's get me back in the shade. Okay, the coupler's sitting on the ball. It's not over it. That is all the way up off the ground. See that? Okay, now let's see. It's 13 1/4. It's really hard for me to tell from this angle. So 13 1/4. And what was the other one? So, okay, I'll figure this out and then I will get back to you.